You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello and welcome to the Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about rebuilding your life. Now, we've all had moments in our life where things haven't gone right. Maybe you were disappointed by a relationship and you're striving to have a good one day, or maybe, something happened in your career where you had to make a transition and you're hoping that one day you find that job that really resonates with your passions and what you want to do. And then there's the times when life just completely falls apart and we have to rebuild it brick by brick by brick. And the thing is, there's a lot of lessons that we can learn in life by kind of rallying. We see our survival skills. We see our ability to be tenacious and go after life. So I'm going to be taking your calls. That number is 800-333-0001. Also, in our next segment, we're going to have Ashley Bendixson. Now, she's going to be coming on talking about the two different relationships that she had, both leading to domestic violence and sexual assault, and just how she had to find her way through the jungle of that to come out the other side in rebuilding her life and being happy and living full out. So stay with us. We'll be sharing her story. And most of all, I want to make sure that you are supported on today's topic. Feel free to reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com if you need resources. Now, I hear that we have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello. Hi, welcome to Living Full Out Show.
Hi, my name is Michaela. I'll be entering my senior year of college with a busy work schedule ahead of me. Between classes and work, I find it difficult to set aside time for myself and my friends, but I do know that I need to have fun from time to time. My question is, how would you balance everything without sacrificing something?
That's a good question. So, have you ever juggled a bunch of balls in the air and had one or two fall?
Yeah.
All right. That's the worst feeling ever, right? Yuck. So the reason why I mention that is because past experiences will help predict future successes. Okay? So when you had those past experiences where maybe you said yes to too many things or filled up your schedule too much and you didn't have personal time for yourself, we want to take assessment of that and learn better and do better and be better, right? So when you look at this next schedule coming ahead of you, you got school, you got maybe work or internships, and you obviously want to spend time with your friends. What do you know about yourself that got you back on track after that last time you dropped the balls?
I probably end up saying yes to too many things or committing to too much at once.
Okay. And so the great thing is when you know that about yourself, that's where you can be your best friend. Okay. And it doesn't mean that you have to say no. I'm not a fan of the word no, but I believe in the phrase not right now. Okay. And that's a great phrase. So as you look ahead, obviously you want to think of deadlines. You want to think of the biggest priorities. Okay. Your sleep, your self-care, believe it or not, that is top of the list. Okay. Second would be obviously your education or, making sure that you show up on work on time because obviously you're getting paid for showing up and doing a great job. So there's certain things that you have to prioritize. So when someone comes to you and says, gosh, can you help me move? Or you want to go to dinner on Friday night? I want you to remember the phrase, not right now. Okay. And just let that sink in because it's okay to say, gosh, I'd love to help you move. This is just not a good weekend. Or, yeah, I'd love to go to dinner. This is not really the best time. Can we do maybe 2 weeks from now? Because I understand the temptation to want to say yes to everything is, that fear of missing out or letting someone down. What do you think?
I think that is a great phrase for me to add to my vocabulary.
And really embrace it. Not right now, And there are some other phrases that I've kind of coined and kind of say to myself sometimes, like, if you're studying and you're really thriving and you're keeping to your schedule, I also want to teach you to, celebrate your successes and not feel bad about that. Maybe you selfishly want to stay home rather than going out. And the phrase you want to say there is, because I can, right? You're the captain of your own ship. So not right now and because I can. And you want to find your own mantra phrases. And it's not that you share those with anybody. It's just personal for you to keep you on track. Okay?
I think that sounds wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Go out there, live full out, have fun, but not right now is perfectly fine. Okay? Thank you so much. Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
And I love that she asked that question, right? Because if we say yes to everything, we deplete our energy. We sometimes feel like we're at a deficit. We're giving so much to other people, but we're not depositing, sleep or nutrition or personal time into our own lives. So I'm getting word from our producer that we have another caller on the line. We'll go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to Living Full Out Show.
Hi, this is Katie.
Hi, Katie. How can I help you?
I just kind of had a question about meeting new people and making new friends. One thing I kind of struggle with is just kind of opening up to new people because I feel like once they get to know me, I'm kind of interesting, really fun, but until I get to that point, I just personally feel like it's hard for me to show them who I really am, and it's kind of hard for them to keep coming back and wanting to talk to me, I feel like.
Would you say overall that you're more of an introvert or an extrovert in life?
I'm more of an introvert.
More of an introvert. Okay. So what we want to think about for you is what would you say is your best quality of why people hang out with you?
Well, I always try to be thoughtful. I think I really take into account how other people feel and how kind of my actions affect them. So I always like to think that I'm really thoughtful and always putting myself in other people's shoes, I guess.
And you know what? That's the kind of friend I'd like to have. That's a great friend. What do you think is the second good quality of you?
I don't know. I'm always trying to I don't know. I just always try to be kind and just small words can go a long way. I feel so just being kind to your friends and asking maybe what they want to do that day or just giving them a compliment.
Mm-hmm. So you're thoughtful and you're also kind, and you let other people kind of express their concerns or their desires, and you kind of go along with it sometimes, because that actually is a gift to be able to give somebody that ability to make a decision, to be heard. That too is a really great friend. Now, the thing about sometimes being introverted, the skill of that is a lot of times introverts, you guys kind of hold back, right? You kind of watch, you kind of listen, but you're super loving, super smart. It just means that you're giving that gift away of letting other people express themselves, and you're happy with that. You're content with that. So what you want to do is take all these things that we just talked about, and when you meet somebody the next time around, I want you to kind of let them know about who you are, rather than talking about the weather, hey, where do you work, or where do you live, or where are you from? I mean, those are great, but they're kind of surfacey. I want you to stand out there, and I want you to say, hi, my name is Katie. I'm really excited that I met you. And, the thing is I actually just really love meeting new people. I find that a lot of times I'm the one that kind of sits back and lets other people talk. And, I just want to be here to support you and your dreams and your goals. And, if there's anything I can ever do to help you, or, I'm always here to be a good listener. Who doesn't want that friend? Right?
Yeah.
That's a great friend. Now, I wouldn't just belt all that out right when you first shake their hand, right? But that's the kind of person you want to let them know you are. Because the opposite side of that is sometimes introverts, because you guys may not say as much, it may seem like you're not interested or preoccupied.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's why I want you, even though it's not in your nature to express yourself, I want to make sure you get out there fairly early on, who you are. I just want you to know I'm an introvert, but I'm here for you. Do you see that? Just let them know that early on, okay? But otherwise, you're on the right track. Thank you so much for calling in.
Mm-hmm.
Have a great day. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you. You too.
Now, again, today we're talking about rebuilding your life, and that may come with rebuilding friendships, your career, getting back to hobbies and passions that you desire. So let's talk about that throughout the show. Feel free to call in. Now, coming up in our next segment is going to be our inspirational guest, Ashley Ben-Dixon. Again, the tragedy of her story is being sexually assaulted and going through domestic violence, but the heroic part of her story is how she got out of it. Stay with us. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. We'll be right back.
Hi, professional skateboarder Tony Hawk here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have the energy to skate through anything.
Nice play on words, Doc.
That's how I roll, Bugs. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
now that's catching air,
kick the soccer ball around, or dance in your room,
just move it your way.
For an hour a day.
The way you like to move, as long as you're moving.
Carve out some time every day and get active. Because it's time to do a 180 on what you think exercise is.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be. So be a player.
Be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
At www.letsmove.gov. Let's hear that one more time, Doc. That's www.letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
I'm Nancy Solari, Certified Life and Business Coach. I want to invite you to the Personal Development Boot Camp. During the boot camp, we're going to be looking at taking those insecurities that you have and getting rid of them. We're also going to look at ways in which you can thrive and live a life full of purpose. Go to livingfullout.com/bootcamp, livingfullout.com/bootcamp to sign up. I believe in you, and here's to you living your life full out.
I'm Sarah, and this is my story.
I'm Ellen, and this is my story.
One night, I was at a bar.
I
was having fun with my friends.
I
had one too many drinks.
I
got behind the wheel to go home.
I got a cab to go home.
All of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a squirrel ran across the road. It happened so quickly, I barely had time to react.
The cabbie barely had time to react.
I swerved.
The cab swerved.
I can't believe it. I hit a guy.
I cannot believe it. The cabbie just missed a guy.
I wish I took a cab.
Thank goodness I took a cab.
You have the choice to save a life. Don't drive buzzed. It's a decision you'll never regret. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you think depression is all in a person's head, you're right. It's a brain illness. And like other illnesses, it has symptoms. Depression can make those who suffer from it feel hopeless. It can even lead to suicide. Learn how to stop depression from taking another life. Call SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, 1-888-511-SAVE. On the web at save.org.
I'm Alec Baldwin. Like any parent, I'm concerned about children's health. Many kids don't eat as they should and are at risk for long-term health problems like diabetes and heart disease. But here's good news. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and other low-fat vegetarian foods can protect our kids and keep the rest of the family healthy too. For a free booklet, call the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine at 1-877-685-KIDS or visit www.kidsgethealthy.org.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about rebuilding your life. And sometimes that starts with literally scrapping what you've been doing and starting over. And other times it's assessing, okay, what is good in my life? What can I salvage here? But where do I need to rebuild? Now, our inspirational guest today, Ashley Bendixson, she had to go through that in rebuilding relationships, finding her purpose in life. And so that's why we're bringing her story to you. She went through sexual abuse and assault and also domestic violence. And thankfully, it happened all early on in her life, but it was very much a hectic and stressful and even, in some cases, dangerous time. So I'd like to welcome Ashley to the show.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you so much for having me.
Hi. Welcome. Now, I want to kind of regroup here in the sense of your story. I know that you grew up in a very loving home. Parents were married and, they loved you and they wanted the best for you. I know that it was around second grade when, you started to understand image and, understand the desire to want to please others and do well and be a good student and just do all the right things. But then, like so many of us, right, we go through like junior high, we got those awkward period where we got, glasses or we got hand-me-downs or we got braces, all these things. I know you went through that phase too. But tell me about the jump from that awkward, even the times that you were being bullied in junior high, to kind of like high school and what you thought was going to be a new start.
Yeah, so, as you were saying, I definitely experienced bullying in middle school, which I suppose is typical of many, students that age. And, for me particularly, it was bullying in regards to my looks. I wore hand-me-downs, I had glasses, I had braces. And when I transitioned to high school, my dad, for the first time ever, allowed me to buy brand new clothes and get a wardrobe for high school. And I got rid of the glasses, and I was just about to get rid of my braces. And I really, as a young woman, felt like this is it. This is going to change everything. I'm going to walk into high school. I'll be accepted now. I'll make friends. I might get a boyfriend now. I really thought it was going to turn my whole life around. But unfortunately, the new attention that I was receiving in high school just led to more bullying and more tormenting by my peers. So it was not a second start at all.
Yeah, and it's funny. It kind of reminds me of that old show, She's Out of Control, with Tony Danza. I think the daughter in that movie had a similar, I want to start over and look the part moment. But the thing is when you did start high school, obviously the bullying continued, and you thought this was going to be a fresh start. And it wasn't in the way of friendships, but it was in the way of having your first boyfriend. Can you share with us about that dynamic?
Sure, yeah. So, as much as I was being severely bullied by most of my female classmates, I was excited because I was getting attention from some of the boys. So there was a silver lining. And when I went to my first high school dance, I ended up, for the first time ever being asked to dance by a boy, and I was so excited. This was so new to me to even dance with a boy, put my hands on a boy's shoulders. I was on cloud nine. And he ended up becoming my first boyfriend in high school, and I was really excited about it. I had never really talked to my parents about dating, and they didn't approve of me dating, but they were okay with me having kind of a casual phone relationship with him. We would just stay up for, hours every night talking on the phone in my bedroom, and so that was kind of my first relationship. It started out really sweet and innocent, and it was really fun at first.
Now, when did it tip the scale to where you knew you were in trouble? This was not the right match. This was not your Prince Charming.
Yeah, so, it's interesting because we had spent so much time and many months talking on the phone. I really felt like I knew him and I trusted him, and, we would communicate our feelings to each other constantly. And so I felt really comfortable, about my relationship with him. And we decided to set up our first real in-person date, and it was this total scheme. You know, I told my parents I was going to a friend's house, but really I was going to meet him at the mall. And so this is our first in-person date, and unfortunately, you know, despite being excited thinking about possibly getting my first kiss, he ended up trying to do much more than kiss me on that first date. And I left that date feeling very confused at what had happened, and it certainly wasn't anything I had prepared myself for, but I remember just kind of wondering if that's what, you know, normal dating was. And so I kind of kept it to myself and hoped that we could just take things slower next time. But unfortunately, next time just got worse and worse, and before I knew it, he was repeatedly sexually abusing me, and then eventually verbally and emotionally abusing me as well.
Now, he was a year older than you, so he may have not known, you know, who you were in junior high and why you were bullied back then. I mean, in some ways, he genuinely did like you. But did you confide in a friend or your family, or did anybody notice signs like bruises or anything?
The only person that kind of knew would have been my one close best friend at the time. And really, the reason she knew is because she saw the secondary impacts on me. You know, my best friend saw me struggling with, you know, my eating habits, self-harming, drinking to cope with my sadness and my depression and a lot of the feelings I was trying to manage. So she saw a lot of the secondary consequences, and that's kind of how I opened up to her about what I had been going through.
Now, how did this relationship unravel in terms of, you know, breaking up?
Yeah, it's crazy to say that this was on and off for almost 2 years. So my first 2 years of high school, I was constantly enduring his torment and his horrific behaviors. And eventually, one day, he just kind of slowed down and he ended up dating some other girl, and he just stopped bothering me. Of course, like most people who are abusive, you know, every 3 months or so I'd get a phone call or he'd try to reach out. But that really kind of ended things as far as the abuse went, was when he started seeing someone else.
And we never know what happened to her, right? We never know if he was the gentleman or an abuser again. And but, you know, it's interesting because that was so young for you. You know, that's 14, 15 to have experienced, you know, sexual abuse, but also, you know, dating a man for the first time. And what I want to kind of talk about as we come back from this next break is the transition into your next abusive relationship, because that wasn't too far from when you broke up with the first guy. So I want you to stay with us, okay? And everybody today, as we're listening to Ashley's story, if you have been through an abusive relationship or if you're currently in one now, I want to make sure that you seek support. Talk to a friend, talk to a family member, reach out to us here at Living Full Out at connect@livingfullout.com. Really want to make sure that you are supported and get into a safe place. So when we come back, we're going to continue our story with Ashley here. This is Ashley Ben Dixon telling her story about domestic violence. And I am Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about rebuilding your life so that you can live full out. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan, and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee, and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way. With just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Nancy Solari, host of the Living Full Out Show. I am excited to let you know that we are now associated with Alexa. If you have Alexa in your house and you didn't know that, go ahead and find Living Full Out because you can hear us anytime you want, and we're there for you to keep you motivated. Go to your app store because we're located there as well. Just look for the Living Full Out radio show. It's important to us that we put out really inspiring programming, but we want to make sure that you have it at your fingertips when you need us most. We never know when those challenges are going to come, when we're going to feel lonely and need that motivation. So just know that when you need us, we're here for you. Check out Alexa, the app stores, or go to livingfullout.com. Here's to you living full out.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about rebuilding your life and just the courage in some cases it takes to do that, or the resources required to do so. And our inspirational guest today, Ashley Van Dixon, she is no stranger to needing to rebuild her life. So we're going to jump back into her story now. So welcome back, Ashley.
Thanks, Nancy.
Hi. So as we talked today about rebuilding your life, it's interesting. Obviously back when you started high school, you had this new opportunity to turn a page and start over. And you kind of got that same break again after high school, being able to go away to college again, somewhere where none of your high school, classmates would be, and finally a chance to start over, right? But it wasn't too far after that you met a boy again. And as you went along in that relationship, you found out that he had domestic qualities. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so interestingly, because of my high school experiences, I really felt like now I understood the warning signs and I knew what to look out for, and I would never let that happen to me ever again. but I still didn't understand how a typical abusive relationship works, evolves, progresses. And so when I met my next long-term boyfriend, he was everything that you would want a partner to be. He was kind, respectful, patient, didn't call me names, didn't pressure me. And he seemed to tick all of those boxes of the qualities we would look for. And so I, fell head over heels for him, and we got involved in our relationship, and we were together for some time before I ever saw any actual warning signs that he had abusive tendencies. That came later, once I was already invested in him and our relationship.
Now, I imagine there was grooming that went along. He started to, tap into the insecurities you had, maybe your past in high school and childhood. But what were the first signs? I mean, how did this escalate?
Yeah, so in retrospect, I definitely see the signs more clearly than I did at the time. When we first began dating, for example, he wanted to spend every waking minute with me. And being that our relationship was new and I really liked him, I was excited about that. I loved that he wanted to see me all the time. But that eventually became, I had very little time with my friends, with my family. If I did say that I was going to spend some time alone, he would kind of give me a sad face and just kind of guilt me into hanging out with him. But that really was an early sign. I mean, he was isolating me. So it was happening long before I knew it. But then eventually he did start to become kind of more agitated. He would have mood swings. They would come from out of nowhere. He'd be happy and smiling one minute and then all of a sudden really angry the next. And then he'd start accusing me of things or, talking about his fears. And he had all these insecurities that came up. And eventually everything just kind of spiraled from there.
Well, I know that he ended up ruining your car so that you could not drive it. Therefore, you could not go even back to school. And I also know that there was a time when you both had to give up your shared apartment and you were homeless. In some cases, finding yourself sharing an apartment with like 30 people, which I can't even imagine how difficult that must have been. But I also know, given your vigor, your spirit, your discipline, you found a way to get yourself back into an apartment. You got a job, and I imagine, knowing you the way I do, you thought even then this could be a start over moment, right? But what did you find? Mm-hmm. What did you find? I mean, did it escalate further?
It did. So I think, like many victims, I naively always thought, this is just another isolated incident, or this is just because he's stressed about losing a job. And so I kind of always attached excuses to his behaviors. And for a while, a lot of his anger came from the fact that we were homeless, we had nowhere to live, we had nowhere to sleep, we had no money. And so I naively thought, well, now we have this apartment together. Now he will see me every morning, day and night. And now we're not homeless, so therefore he'll be happy again. So yeah, I always felt like I could somehow, manipulate our lives and put the pieces together where he would just be back to the man I met. And I thought the apartment was going to change things for us.
Now, what was kind of your I'm done moment? Your this is it, I can't take it moment?
Yeah, for me, it was when his physical aggression escalated. Behind closed doors, he would get angry and break a lot of objects. And that made me very fearful. And then there was one night where I came home from a waitressing shift 15 minutes later than he was expecting me. And he was so angry, he wouldn't let me in the apartment. He was yelling at me. And then he punched the glass pane of the door right into my face. And it was kind of just this moment of complete shock. Even at that moment, I never thought he was capable of, hurting me, but he had clearly just attacked me. And that was when I kind of realized it is dangerous if I stay with this person, and I have no choice but to leave. I can't keep making excuses because I was in fear for my own safety and my own life.
It's really tough because you did tell him to leave, and he honored that. I mean, he left. It's almost kind of in an eerie way. He said, okay. And there was a period of time where, a couple weeks where you thought, okay, I'm on my own. I have my own time. I have my own space. But, statistically, it is sometimes the most dangerous time for someone, once their partner does leave or they leave their partner. And you also encountered that. When he came back with even more rage.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, I felt so relieved when he had just packed his bags and left, and I really thought, like, great, like I can start over again, and really thought that he wasn't going to bother me. And then one night he showed up enraged. He was intoxicated and broke back into the apartment and severely attacked me, just screaming that I didn't care about him, I never loved him, I ruined his life, calling me all these obscenities, and it was horrifying. And he, attacked me and pinned me to the ground, and sadly he strangled me that night.
Well, I know that post that he did get in legal troubles, but sadly, I don't know why, but they didn't really involve you in that legal process in terms of the domestic abuse. What did he finally get charged for?
Yeah, so he faced a few charges because I had called the police the night that he attacked me. So on top of the assault, he was also charged with resisting arrest, disturbing the peace. And in the months that followed, as he was being prosecuted, I was not invited to come to the court and to speak or to offer any testimony. And the only thing he was held accountable for was the resisting arrest and the disturbing the peace, because the police officers were there to vouch for it. And, my side of the story was not. And, as crazy as it sounds, I mean, this was 2006, so this is back when, police didn't have cell phones with cameras. They couldn't take photos of my injuries or the damages to our apartment. So there was just no evidence, and they dropped those charges against him.
Wow. And I know that months later, you ended up getting a phone call from another girlfriend that he was dating. And, she had been abused as well. And I imagine over the years, he's kind of kept his eye on you here and there. Do you fear that he'll ever come back at this point?
I don't. Sadly, I think that I'm probably one of many names on a list of ex-girlfriends he despises. I'm certainly the most vocal. I mean, this has become my career now, and it's become my soapbox cause. But, I think I don't really worry about my safety. I don't even think he lives around where we lived anymore. I think he's somewhere else couch surfing. But I must say, to this day, I always have my guard up. I'm always keeping an eye out. I'm very cautious. I monitor my social media, and I'm just vigilant about it.
Now, for somebody listening to our audience today who is in an abusive relationship, it's tricky because we want them to get out of that situation. But yet, if they leave, like your ex, he came back more enraged. What advice do you have as we kind of close out today's interview for somebody who is in this situation?
Absolutely talk to someone about it, and talk to someone about having an actual safety plan. You can't just break up with someone and think that you're going to be safe. So I think talking to an expert, talking to somebody in your community that is trained, that can provide you with resources and just some simple tricks and tips just to make sure you do things in a smart, safe way is huge. Yeah.
And I imagine you had to learn to trust again. And, what is one piece of advice for telling somebody, don't give your power away?
Yeah, you have to take things one day at a time. Healing can be a lifelong process, and you have to constantly and intentionally remind yourself that your one bad experience is not representative of all men or all relationships. And there's really good people out there, and I really believe that when you work on yourself and when you're in the right place and you're confident and empowered and you can self-advocate, the right person will come into your life. And if the wrong person comes into your life, you know how to get rid of them.
Absolutely. We learn from our past, don't we?
We do.
Ashley, thank you so much for courageously telling your story and stepping out there on that soapbox and being a stand for men and women everywhere that are going through this. So I appreciate that, and we'll always wish you positive thoughts and just good things your way. Okay?
Thank you so much, Nancy.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. And for everybody listening today, domestic violence is something that you don't have to settle for. It isn't your life legacy or destiny. If you are in a relationship that you're being tormented or abused, emotionally or physically, I want you to make sure that you find resources locally to you, whether it be a shelter, whether it be calling 800 line, and we can give you those resources if you want to reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. Most importantly, just like Ashley, and even I grew up with domestic violence, the thing is it's a story that is sadly too common, and we want to make sure that you are in a safe place, or a friend of yours or a family member, so that we can, truly live full out and not have to live in fear. So stay with us. I'm going to be taking more of your calls. Again, that number is 800-333-0001. And again, if you have an inspiring story, just like Ashley, we'd love to hear from you and perhaps have you on the show as a guest. Go ahead and email us at connect@livingfullout.com and let us know what you've gone through, and we'll definitely have a chat with you and hopefully have you on the show. So we'll be coming right back, taking your calls. It's all about rebuilding your life. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay with us.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text.
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. So many comments on my comment. Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Mom, what? Huh? Pew, pew. What'd you say?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. It's against my religion. I'm giving my dog a bath. You can have pictures of that. Pressure gives me hives. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. Hold on, let me ask my mom. Sorry, my webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. Unfortunately, I just had my clothes surgically attached to my body. If they got out, I might never be president. I'm already naked, under my clothes. Not even if you were all three Jonas Brothers. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. The more you ask, the less I want to. You're not the boss of me. Nudity makes me vomit. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold
I want to
day.
be a football
I want to
stadium.
be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
When it comes to rebuilding your life, the first thing you want to do is think about the past. Where have you made mistakes? Where do you wish you had gone a different direction? What lessons have you learned? Then you want to look forward into the future. What would you like to have? Who are you hanging out with? Combine those two, connect the dots, and that's how you live full out and rebuild your life.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out show. And today we've been talking about rebuilding your life. And I really want everybody to understand that could be any aspect of your life. It could be rebuilding relationships or starting over in your career or hitting the reset button when it comes to your health. And I think those are really valuable times in our life because we can take assessments. Sometimes we can let go of toxic relationships or even behaviors that we have. We can get more educated and go in a different direction. We can start a new passion or hobby. So I know it seems daunting. Rebuilding my life, that just sounds like a lot of work. But the work is worth it if at the end you're able to say, you know what? I learned a lot about myself. I like who I am today. And that is what it means to live full out. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hello, welcome to Living Full Out Show. Hi, thank you. Hi, thank you for calling in. How can I help you today?
Hi. So I basically have a question. I had to end, I'm an athlete, and I had to end my season prematurely due to and I just want to know, how can I make sure that I'm geared up the right way, mentally, physically, in order to come back stronger and prove I made the right decision now for a better outcome?
Well, first of all, I really give it to you to listen to your body, right? Because there are a lot of athletes that will just crank it out, keep going, keep going, keep going. And then their career ends early because they've never let a wound heal or injury heal, right? So I applaud you, first of all, for listening to your body. Secondly, what I want you to do post this conversation is I want you to take some time, maybe surfing the web or on your phone, and I want you to find other athletes who have taken this same pause in life. Now, what is it that you do in terms of athletics?
So I'm a jumper. I do the long jump and the triple jump.
Perfect. So in a perfect world, you want to find other people who have had an injury. See if they have any videos out there or articles they've done, interviews, where they talk about this same place and time that you're in. How did they stay motivated? What did they do on a very light scale to keep their strength? What did they do differently to perhaps heal the wound? Some people might turn to their face. Some people might try, I don't know, acupuncture or different techniques, right? So I think it's really just kind of getting an assessment of what others have done. But then the very last thing is, today we're talking about rebuilding our life, right? And so the athlete that you were before this injury, you want to say, you know what, you got me this far and I thank you for that. But then you want to look to the new version of you, the mentally stronger version, the healed, more healthy version of you. And you want to say to that new athlete, I am so excited for where you're going. Okay, we're in a little pause right now, so I want you to get mentally strong. I want you to build slowly your strength back. But you want to say kind of thank you to the past athlete you were, and you want to say hello to the new athlete you are. Do you see that?
I love that. Yeah,
right.
I love that.
Because
awesome.
if you stay kind of festering about the past, the woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's where we kind of beat ourselves up emotionally. So that's why you just want to give that past athlete a high five, a big hug, and say, thank you for getting me this far. All right, maybe thank you not for the injury, but thank you for getting me this far. And now it's time to mentally, physically embrace the new you. Can you do that?
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling in. We'll send you great thoughts. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. And for everybody listening today, it is about rebuilding your life. It doesn't have to be a sad tale or story. It's exciting. Turn that new page in your life. Remember, you're the author. You get to say how it goes. But I do invite you to be honest and make sure that you do be vulnerable with people. Just like the callers and the guests on today's show, when you say something, when you put it out there, you gain your power back. You own it. You're able to really thrust yourself out there and live your dreams and live full out in a big way. Our entire Living Full Out thanks you for listening today. It's all about rebuilding your life. We have Rich and Gio and John and Riley and Ariel and just so many people that want to make sure that you leave today's show supported and ready to rock it and go live full out. Make sure you go to livingfullout.com to hear today's show again, or all of our episodes are there for you. Or you can even go to Alexa or the app stores and just look for Living Full Out Radio so that you can be motivated on the go. As always, I believe in you very much, and I know that rebuilding your life may seem like a lot of work, but it is worth it if on the other side you can turn around and have learned life lessons and are proud of who you become. Thank you so much for listening today, and until our next show, here's to you living full out. See you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.